Hi, everyone. I am Rachel Augusta, and I work with animals all over the world who are sick with diseases like cancer, who have injuries, who are suffering from old age, trauma, um, all sorts of things. If your animal's not feeling well physically or emotionally, chances are I can help you. I'm making a video today about something that is so common. If you live with an animal, there's a really good chance this might happen to you. It's called misbehaving. So a lot of people come to me because they're like, my animal's misbehaving. And misbehaving can be anything from um, you know, maybe two animals in the house not getting along and fighting, or maybe it's that they're waking you up in the middle of the night, or you work from home and they're harassing you all day long. There's all sorts of misbehaving. And the truth is, it pretty much usually always boils down to one thing. But let me clarify this first. If you have an animal who is misbehaving, it is super important to make sure that they're not actually sick. A lot of times people come to me and say, my cat's misbehaving, they're peeing outside of the litter box. Usually cats pee outside of the litter box to let you know that they're actually really sick. So if you have an animal who's misbehaving or doing something that they have isn't typical to them, take them to the vet. There might be something really serious going on. You need to know that first. But after you've taken them to the vet and the vet's like, no, there's nothing wrong with them. Your animal's just misbehaving. I like to put it in quotes because humans love to be like, my animal's misbehaving. But a lot of times it has to do with us. It's because we misbehave. Anyway, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole for this video. So you have an animal who's doing something that's annoying or driving you crazy. What can happen, and this can happen when, let's say, you have one animal and then you bring another animal into the house, and then you have two animals, and now like things were great and now they're not because you have one animal that's fighting, or maybe their personality is completely changed now that you brought this new animal into the house. Okay, so what is this? It's usually the one thing that I said it boils down to is it's like your animal doesn't have a role. They don't have a job. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing. And so it's kind of like, when you have a bunch of human kids hanging out all around you and it starts to get really crazy, it's because they don't have a purpose. They don't have something to do. They don't have any way to entertain themselves. The same is true with your animals. Animals love feeling needed, and they love having a purpose. They love having a role in the house. So it doesn't matter if you have one animal or 10 animals. Each one of them wants to have a role. They want to be the go-to person for a specific thing. So we have some animals that are like, I know my job. I'm the protector. I'm the guardian. And you have some animals that are like, I don't know what my job is. And that is where we start to see things arise, things come up. So the first step is figuring out, what is their role in the house? So like, let's say when you bring in, you might have one animal and everything's really great, and then you bring in another animal. Let's say you adopt another dog, and then all of a sudden things aren't great. It might be because you have two dogs that are like, that's my job. No, that's my job. No, that's my job. But that's supposed to be my job. But no, my job is to love her. No, my job is to love her. And then they start freaking out and nobody's happy. So you have to get really clear on who they are and what they actually naturally do in the house. And when I say naturally do, it's because you can't give an animal a job that they're not suited for. Like if you have a shaking, terrified chihuahua, you can't say to this chihuahua, you're the guard dog. Because the chihuahua might be like, wow, I really suck at that. I should not be your guard dog. And whenever I start to explain this to my clients, I like to use flip it and imagine we were talking about humans in an office, because it gives people a better understanding. So it would be like, if you just randomly told somebody, I want you to be the CEO of this company, but they're not actually fit to be the CEO of that company. Or you tell somebody, your job is to be the cook. And they're like, I actually don't know how to cook. So if I cook, it's going to suck. And then everybody's going to be really upset and really mad. Nobody's going to be happy. And I'm going to have a ton of shame. The same is true with our animal companions. So you need to find jobs that suit them. Like, what do they already do naturally? That is the first step, getting really super clear on that. And a lot of times people, it takes some time. It takes some brainstorming. It really takes like getting to the bottom of it. And one of the mistakes people make is when I say who is your animal, they list all the bad qualities, like the naughty behavior qualities. Well, they're the one that's crabby. Well, they're the one that's this. Well, they're the one that's always annoyed that I'm on my computer all day long. And it's like, that's not helpful. And also, would you want somebody to describe you that way if you were working in an office that you hate? Okay, let me take that back. The animal probably doesn't hate your office, but let's say if you were uncomfortable working in an office, would you want the higher ups being like, well, this is the one who just sits around confused, not really sure what to do? So I got up really early this morning. I've had a bunch of coffee. So who is your animal? Positive light. We're talking about positive things. Like, you know what? My animal is always there for me when I'm sad. Like specifically when I'm crying, they come and make me feel better. Or let's say you're an author or working to be an author and you write all the time and you have an animal that sits and hangs out with you specifically when you're writing, and it's really comforting to you and you find that you're feel very grounded by it. Whoa, my animal just joined this party. Her name's Sugar Pants. So Sugar Pants tells me when I'm going on. Her job is to tell me when I'm rambling. So so anyway, see, notice how I said her job is to tell me when I'm rambling, and then she stopped because she did her job. So the more clear you can get on what your animal does in a positive, so important, positive light, the better off we are. So I was speaking with a client of mine who she is a Reiki practitioner, and she said, my cat meows all the time. She wants me sitting on the sofa with her and doing nothing but sitting on the sofa with her, but I can't. So one of us has to work and pay the bills, right? That makes sense. That's reasonable. So I said, well, what is your cat's job in the house? And she said she charges my Reiki room. And I think what she was saying is that she energetically charges or cleans her Reiki room. Okay. Now that is very positive, right? But my question for you is it confusing? It's confusing for me. And I'm a human who speaks the same language as this woman. I'm also an energy practitioner. But I was like, oh, okay, what exactly does that mean? So while she knew what the job was, it was a little confusing. So once you understand like your animal's personality, what they're really good at, like, oh, you're my muse for when I'm writing. Okay, great. Awesome. That's your job. Oh, okay, wonderful. Your animals, that's great. But what does that mean? And where do we go from there? Let's flip this back to humans. Let's say you are hired as an admin assistant at an office, and you get in on your first day. They're like, okay, here's your desk. Bye. You're the admin assistant. Okay, well, I know what an admin assistant is, but I don't actually know what I'm supposed to be doing throughout the day. Is there certain hours where I need to be answering the phone? Do I have to book people into a system? At what time do I book people into the system? Are there major do's? Are there major don'ts? Where's the coffee machine? I don't really know. I need somebody to show me the ropes. I need you to explain this to me in detail. The same is true with animals. So you might say to your beloved animal companion, your job is to swing your tail in front of my face when I'm doing a YouTube video or a podcast interview to tell me that I'm rambling. Okay. Or you could say, no, your job is to cut me off when I'm rambling. All right. I can do that. My cat's like, totally, I can do that. How do you want me to do that? By pooping on your floor? By like unplugging your mic? Do you want me to like charge at your computer? There's a lot of ways I can get you to stop rambling. Do you see where I'm going with this? We might know our job, but not know the details to it. Like, how does it work? What is expected of me? What would make you happy? What would not make you happy in this situation? The more clear you can get on this with your animals, the better. So if you have an animal who's a creative muse, you might be like, I love it. You're my creative muse. They might be like, okay, that's great. Do you want me laying across your computer? Do you want me to knock things over to, add to the creativity? You're my creative muse. I love it when you lay at my side and sleep and purr. I love it when you lay on my feet and really ground me while I'm typing and writing. That feels really good. Explain it to them, just like you would a new hire. The other piece that's really important to mention in this is don't have two office managers. No one likes that. The two office managers don't like that, and the people who are working with them don't like it. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. So if you have two animals that you're like, you're both my creative muses, the one's going to be like, well, I think I'm better at it than you are. And the other one's going to be like, no, I'm better at it than you are. No, she loves me. No, she loves me. That's where shit happens. Give them separate jobs. And just like anyone working at any job, it's really super great? Validation. We love being validated, and so do our animals. When they are doing a great job at their job, their role in their house, tell them, oh my God, I love what you're doing right now. This makes me so happy. This is so great. You're doing wonderful. Wow, you figured out the printer? Look at you go. Everyone loves validation, including your animals. This will seriously improve your animal's quality of life, your quality of life. Everyone wants to feel needed. Everyone wants to feel loved. Everyone wants to feel like they're doing a good job across all species. And if you've made it this far and you're thinking to yourself, how exactly am I supposed to communicate with my animals that they are the new creative muse, or their job is to help me fall asleep at night? Just tell them. Animals are telepathic, and humans, we think and we talk. And when we're thinking and talking, we're creating images in our brain, and our animals are able to read these images. But what you have to remember is that the more clear you can get on the image you're creating, the better off it is for the animal. Telepathy is not their language either. It's their second language, or maybe their third language. So even though you and I are both speaking English or the same language with each other, we can have miscommunications. The same is true with your animals, and they're reading telepathy. So the more clear of an image you can create in your head, the better. The problem is that humans love speaking in negatives. We love it. We're obsessed with it. We're like, don't sit there. Don't do that. The image you're creating in your head is of them sitting there and of them doing that thing you don't want them to do. How are they supposed to know that you don't want them to do it? You're imagining them doing it, and they're thinking, yeah, okay, cool, fine. You want me to sit on your computer? All right. You've thought about it 20 times today. Okay, fine, I will. So keep the images in your head as clear and as positive as possible. I am Rachel Augusta, your holistic animal practitioner. I do a free Q&A call on practically every third Thursday of the month, except for in May, because that's my birthday. If you need more clarification or help, jump on to one of these calls and get some help from me, or head over to my website and book a free consultation, rachelaugusta.com.